the short film is called The Girl with the Red Beret, and it's directed, written, and filmed by Ed Smythe, and it's about I play a character called Lawrence, who is sort of he's detached sort of from the world. He sort of makes sure that he keeps to himself. He doesn't want to be confused with someone who's mainstream and all that. So I mean, I'm wearing the costume for him now. As you can see, it's very dark, very plain, and sort of, and he sort of, well, as I said, he keeps to himself and all that, and he is in love with like photography and stuff, and he's in love with this concept of like the perfect moments and all that, which he's always trying to capture. And he then meets a girl called Edie, who's played by Isabella, and it sort of goes on from there. Really, you have to see for yourself the rest of it. I sort of, well, obviously, I talked with Ed about what he wanted out of the character, what he sort of, when he was writing the character Lawrence, what he wanted to represent with the character. And a lot of the things that were used was, isolation, sort of cut off, and the reason why he is. So I sort of looked at other characters in other forms of media, like TV shows or films, that had similar, not similar storylines or similar reasons, but similar sort of circumstances in a way, like other characters who have been isolated for whatever reason or something. And I sort of looked at how they behaved and if it sort of transformed their character throughout the piece, or if they had any mannerisms or a style of walking or something. I sort of used that quite a lot, and I used there were 3 characters which I sort of used quite a lot to sort of get me in the right mood, and that was a Daniel Radcliffe character who, in a TV series I adore called A Young Doctor's Notebook, who is isolated. So I watched him quite a lot. I took a few notes from Matt Smith's Doctor Who, because he's he's sort of the person who puts on a really fun, outgoing face, but underneath you can tell he's got some issues. And I also looked at Jack Nicholson's character from The Shining, who, of course, needless to say, is very isolated in the end. So these 3 characters I did look at and sort of tried to take some traits into my own performance. I think it's going to be very, very good. It's I know that it's going to be entered into film festivals and stuff, and I have a feeling that it's going to have very positive, like, things said about it. It's, as I said before, it's got some very different styles used in it, which I think the audience will take quite warmly and quite kindly to it. It's from what I've seen, from the little pieces that I've seen, and from the scripts that I've read, I think it's a very well-paced storyline, which is always important. So yeah, I think it's going to do very well.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It was as I said, it was a lot of fun, and I've already said as well, I reckon that it's going to do quite well, and so yeah,
quite well.
Well, I think it's going to do very well. Then I think it's going to do very, very well. So definitely, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad Ed asked me to do it. Before we started this, I didn't know how popular this sort of thing was. To be honest, because I didn't know how many people were putting so much effort into this, that was really nice, because when I sort of came in, and then I met all these different people, and a lot of them were also people who were helping out, but were also going off doing their own things, doing their own like projects and stuff regarding similar ideas and stuff. So that was really nice to see that so many people had such a passion for, like media and stuff. That was really nice to see. I didn't have to really go to it. I was actually asked to do it by Ed Smythe, because I was working on a short internet series when I was in college, directed and edited and filmed by M. Demiri, who is one of the editors in this. And so him and Ed obviously knew each other, and Ed spotted me in the other series called Malachite, and he sort of, well, I guess he must have thought this guy would be alright for the role, I suppose. So yeah, he asked me, and I thought it would be a good opportunity. So yeah, went for it. That was a lot of fun. There was a lot of sort of different styles of places. I mean, at one point we were filming in a really massive bookshop, which was really cool. There was a lot of cool scenes in there, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And then next we were all of a sudden doing scenes in a cafe, which was again a lot of fun. There were times when we got some odd glances from a few people, because as it is in local place and well-known places, there was a lot of sort of people passing by, and at some point we did have the odd random person trying to get into the shop or make a joke or something. So, but it was a lot of fun. It was interesting to have all these different places and different styles of places. So yeah, that was fun.
I found it pretty easy. I had a really good crew. When we was filming, we had a small crew, so it was very personal. Trusted everyone on set. The problem was we had 4 days to shoot, so the crew had to work fast, and I'm pleased with it. I'm proud of them. They did a really good job. A long time ago, my friend Lewis Smith, who is one of the 2 producers of the show, he told me about it in the library at our school. About a few months later, I went to the BFI Film Academy and I met Edward Smythe, incredible man, and yeah, he told me about it, got involved, then eventually he asked me to direct episode 3, so that's how I got involved. The story's about this young woman called Mary who can conjure up characters from literature. She's obsessed with reading, and all she wants is the perfect man. Terrence Malick is the filmmaker I look up to most. His films are visually stunning, with a particular attention on cinematography, and that was the key element of 103. I would say Terrence Malick influenced me in terms of the visuals, the nature side of things. Working small means it's more intimate relationships with the crew members. You can talk to them and they'll do exactly what you'll say. There's no huge crew, no people waiting around doing nothing. Everyone's involved at the same time, so they don't get bored. It's the main thing, because then they are focused on what they're doing. Especially there's a few mature scenes in this where a mature level amongst all the crew members was needed, and as I've said, they delivered very well. I'd say the biggest challenge in shooting the whole of 1-3 was we had a 4-day window to shoot every scene, essentially, which meant the whole summer we was preparing costumes, making sure the script was perfect, while 1-1 and 1-2 was shot, leaving us 4 days in order to get everything. And at first, beforehand, it looked like it was going to be a mountain to climb, that we wouldn't be able to do it. But after, say, day 2, everything was going smoothly. We was ahead of schedule, and there was a few perks that we didn't think about beforehand, such as the use of an old car, a vintage car, which was very handy. But yeah, time was the hardest thing. No, I think that's been done a lot. When you're an independent filmmaker and you're very young, you have to use what you have, and a lot of the times you just take a camera out onto the streets. So essentially it was bringing back tradition, a gorgeously filmed short film. Lost for words, it just brings a tear to my eye. Yeah, the gritty short films and social realism, everyone knows everyone knows about them. They're pretty common in independent filmmaking. Wanted to do something different, so different for my filmography. I've never done anything like this before, so it was 100% worth it. The people I met making Peculiar Tales was just such a tight net of friends, which will always continue to make films together, lend hands. Yeah, definitely. That was probably one of the biggest perks as well of the film, meeting all these great people. The Medway New Wave, yeah, they'll have that in some film textbooks at some point. But I'm so proud to be a part of it. I didn't realise just how many other filmmakers there were in Medway until I met people like Edward Smythe and Lewis Smith and Harry Adams. It's just great to be a part of it, knowing that you're in a movement that's bigger than your own work is just incredible.
I think you mentioned the actors as well.
I do believe that it does so much. I'll look over there. Yes, it's a wonderful thing that's happening for a student film to be shown in a cinema environment. It does leaps and bounds for the filmmaker themselves, because they're seeing their film on the big screen essentially, and showing it to an audience that might not be able to see it normally would also open up a lot more for the filmmakers. So yeah, it's a fantastic idea. Yeah, it was very nice working on all three. As mentioned before, it was like a family. We all did different jobs throughout the whole series. It was very handy again to have an insight into other areas of filmmaking. It's not just one person who makes a film; it's a collective.
Who was involved in Peculiar Tales?
Me and Lewis were both very keen from the start to involve as many people as possible. So we basically took, how do I put this? Can we start again, please?
Certainly. Yep. So who was involved in the Peculiar Tales?
Well, me and Lewis were very keen to sort of get involved as many people as possible. So we took some of us of our best friends from the Mechanical Me course, also some of our good friends from college and universities and places like that, and we just basically put them all together, and also from the BFI Film Academy, put all these, and we cut, let's do it again, sorry I mucked up.
Yeah, keep going, just do go again.
So
who was involved in the production of Peculiar Tales?
well, me and Lewis were really keen to get involved as many people as possible, many young people, so we basically got our favourite people from the Mechanical Me course, and from the BFI Film Academy, and also from schools and colleges as well. There wasn't always a case of favourites. It was more just really practicality, to be honest. So a lot of people were local. A lot of people we would like to put involved, but were simply too far away. So I mean, it was basically a case of sort of most of interested friends who were into filmmaking and said, hello, come and join us. And many of them did. So we had about, we've got almost 30 people in total involved right now. That's mostly production, but we've also got, there's still been a few new people involved. I think the official number is about 26, I think. But yeah, it's just people from a variety of sort of local film courses, and we've all just kind of got together and made sort of community, which is quite nice. It's all going rather well, I think.
So what are the plans for Peculiar Tales now the production is finished?
The current plans are to sort of instigate a festival run for all three films, starting in March 2013, and I've got a few plans on exactly how to premiere them. So they're probably going to have one or two premieres at festivals. Another one may get a sort of special premiere in Rochester Picture Palace. Rochester Picture Palace is a local cinema which I create short films for, and I'm sort of working closely with the owners of that to sort of really create a strong local connection. So we're also going to have them there. Also a place called Seasonally Affected. That's a nice little sort of artistic series of events, I think run by a guy called Roy Smith, I think, and they happen at Dock Cafe. And so we've got mixtures of local events like that and festivals. So it's yeah, those are the first initial plans. We've got a big marketing campaign. We've got £500 of my Ideas tap. That's helping in various ways, various bits and bobs. So yeah, it's all going quite sort of. We've got some big plans, and hoping to wrap it up mostly around the summer. But we'll see.
Are there any specific festivals that you aim to put these films to?
I wanted to put it in the BFI Future Film Festival, but we were a little bit slow to finish them, so we missed the deadline quite massively. I'd like to put them in. I think there's one called Encounters. I've always been a fan of that. Also, where else was there? Where else? Let me think. Well, there's always the BFI Film Festival itself. It's probably a little bit too ambitious, but you know, it's worth a try. Also, there's a few student film festivals across the UK. I'm on into those, and some sort of big ones in sort of regional cities like Leeds. I think it's got quite a big one, and it's not one for Sheffield really, but yeah, there's places around the UK basically, possibly even internationally, but we'll see.
Am I right in saying that the editor, M. Demiri's got his own film in the BFI Future Film Festival this year?
He does indeed. It's called I Know How You Feel. That's by himself, and DOP by himself, edited by himself, and is generally created by himself. That stars the wonderful Suraj Ratu as well. He's a great guy. He's in this as Drake in 1.1, Fire Teleporter. But yeah, he's got a film in that, and I'm really proud, really pleased for him. It's on the 22nd of February, I think. But,
will you be attending that date?
I would like to have been, but I'm working on another BFI film course.
I'm distraught because I'm going.
I heard.
And Roman has to go.
Roman can't go.
He has to go.
Why does he have to go?
Because it's part of the Silver Arts Award thing.
You get to go on the bloody film festival.
Everyone has to attend.
What? Don't bother to take us. We've even got proper premieres.
No, everyone has
They didn't bother to take us to a premiere. They waited like 6 months for our premiere to make my own one.
Yeah, our premiere is at, I think at BFI Future Film Festival. I think our premieres are at, actually.
You've got them into that festival?
I think not. Well, I think there's a part. Well, basically we got this thing through that said you have to pick certain workshops to do from 11, 1 and 3 p.m. that day. And they said, oh, I know other people have got other courses, but you can still attend the 3 p.m. course or the 3 p.m. workshop. So Roman has to go to that.
He
But
can't.
it was-
He can't. I mean, he's directing. He won't be able to. We're going. We're finishing on the 23rd though, so maybe to pop along. A friend of mine asked me to go along. Benjamin Squires, who's a composer on this project, who's magnificent as well. But yeah, I know a few people who are going. I Know How You Feel is at 11 a.m. I think.
Yeah, I put that down as my option.
Yeah.
This is a
bit relevant.
Yeah,
You
this
asked
is
me.
So no, there
useful.
was a bit on the sort of list of workshops that said BFI Film Academy, like just around the UK, that all those films being shown.
Okay, we can start asking questions now.
What were your main influences for this project?
The main influences were the filmography of Wes Anderson. He is a genius. He's a magnificent man. And particularly his films Rushmore and The Royal Tenenbaums. I absolutely adore those films. They're outstanding examples of cinema. I discovered them Summer 2012, and I just fell in love with them completely. Also, a film called Submarine, directed by Richard Ayoade. I never know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I think he finds it creepy if you do pronounce it correctly, so hopefully I'm not. And those two films in particular. Also, you've got a few elements of other bits and bobs. You've got tiny, you've got very sort of subtle ingredients of Skins and Misfits in a way. I don't think people really see the similarity, but they were sort of key. They were useful for us during production. I watched every single series of Skins in preparation. I say in preparation, I just want to watch it anyway. But it was useful. It was useful to get my mind into a sort of teenage mindset. But yeah, but also influences. Where else? I think he had a bit of Bergman for some reason. I can't remember why he had Bergman, but he was an influence somehow. And I know Lewis was influenced by Humphrey Jennings. Jeffrey Jennings and John Grierson, who are documentarists. I don't really know why. I think Lewis was a bit high that day, I don't know. Yeah, he anyhow, yes.
So what were your specific roles on PT?
You already asked me, but I'll say it again.
Have I?
I was obviously I co-created the series with Lewis Smith. My main sort of day-to-day roles were producing. I was the main producer, also executive producer as well, and director of photography. I was director of photography in all 3 films and producer in all 3 films as well. And one film, 1.2, The Girl Who Wore a Beret, I was the writer and director too. So I had quite a sort of quite a heavy involvement, and I pretty much devoted my whole summer to that. But I'm really proud I did. I'm really happy I did because it was so worth it in the end. Yeah.
So who were the other sort of main roles or the main people of the series, the other directors?
Well, the other main people would be Lewis Smith, who also co-created it, and he wrote and directed 1.1, Twilight Teleporter, and also Steven Chirac, who wrote and Steven Chirac, who directed 1.3, Rose of Elsinore, and also was a sort of key helping hand on 1.1 and 1.2. He was sound man, he was a runner, he was a I think coffee man or something. He was various bits and bobs. Also, he was our sort of sexy Ukrainian helper. I think that was a title given to him by someone. And yeah, he was just generally helpful, handy, lovely little friendly man.
Little.
He's not really that little, is he? No.
You've missed out a key person of this whole project.
Who?
Luke.
Oh.
And me, of course. And Fred. Didn't Fred write 1.3?
She did. And Alex as well.
Are you going to mention that?
Writers
Why?
aren't important or something.
And I'm happy to mention the 2 people I just mentioned.
Alex, you didn't mention Alex either.
Alex.
He had a role.
Alex didn't do much.
Alex likes promoting it, but he doesn't seem to be so interested in having himself promoted. I keep saying, I put a promotion out for you, he's like, oh, it's fine. But he wants to promote it himself. I don't quite understand it myself, but yeah.
Alex Halpin's radio station, or his radio show on Quest Radio,
Yeah.
there have been a few sort of promotional sections of that show dedicated to PT. How much do you know about this?
Well, I'm a good friend of Alex's, I say so myself, and I did rather, I said to him, look, it'd be lovely if you could give us some airtime. And he was like, oh, sure thing to do, sure thing to do. I mean, thank you very much. I mean, it's an absolute pleasure to hear that we have the news to you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think he was going to be quite happy to give us the opportunity. We've had 3 appearances so far. In fact, I think they've only actually had 3 shows so far, and they've all had a big appearance from PT. The first one was an interview with Cecilia Johnson, and they had like an 8-minute piece. Second one was an interview with me, which is not online. Didn't go amazingly well because I had not really rehearsed myself to every role, and I was a stringent mess of stringent stuff. I don't even know what stringent really means, but I'm going to say it because it sort of demonstrates my lack of understanding, really. But yeah, that didn't go particularly great. But at this point, it's me being really kind of perfectionist, to be honest. The third one was with a good friend, a wonderful editor, Mr. Andy Marinakemi. I actually don't know I don't know if I'm saying his surname properly. I never asked him. I should probably ask him, but do say his first name correctly. Andy Murray. It's taken a lot of practice, but he's such a good guy. It's good to get his name right. 3, 2, 1, action.
Who are you and what did you do on PT?
My name is Ed Smythe, or Edward Smythe, as some people would prefer to call me. That's my real name. And my role in PT was, I co-created it back in September 2012.
Don't look at the camera.
Oh shit, sorry. Sorry, that's a very good point, thank you. Let's start from the top. Go from the top.
Subtracted something Ed did. Oh.
That never happens.
That's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Ready, guys?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, action.
Who are you and what did you do on PT?
My name is Ed Smythe, or Edward Smythe, as my official name is. My role in PT, I was the co-creator back in I created it with Lewis Smith back in September 2012, and I'm also the producer, DOP.
Actually, right, cut. Can you say Peculiar Tales of Extraordinary People rather than PT? Because otherwise they won't know what it is. Because you'll be the first bit of the interview.
Fine.
That's a good point.
I am
Yeah, I said PT in my one. I'm not sure if I had to
We
backtrack on it.
set it off by shorthand, don't we?
Well, your interview will be easier because the others will be out first and people will know it.
Ready, guys?
Affectionately as PT.
3, 2, 1, action.
Who are you and what did you do on the Peculiar Tales of Extraordinary People?
I'm Ed Smythe, or Edward Smythe as my official name happens to be. I was the co-creator, I'm the co-creator of Peculiar Tales, on Peculiar Tales of Extraordinary People. I'm also the producer, executive producer, DOP, and also the writer and director for one of the films, 1.2, The Girl with the Red Beret.
So what is the Peculiar Tales of Extraordinary People?
Peculiar Tales is a series of 3 high-quality short films that explore outsiders sort of living on the fringes of society. They're quite odd people, and we show that through a sort of very quirky aesthetic. Our bigger influences are Wes Anderson and Submarine, and you know we love the out the ordinary, love the oddness of existence, and we're very stylized. That was a key part of our desire.
So how did you come up with this
May
idea?
I interject? We can just interject, right, and then move on to other questions. I think you might need to slow down a little bit
Slow down.
with your words, because they're sort of you're saying it very quickly, like you're in a rush to get it out.
Okay.
Just to let you know,
Okay,
I'm an actor as well, of course. So it's just better to slow down because you don't realise how quickly you're talking when you're doing it. So always try and keep in your mind to leave spaces between words and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So how did you come up with the idea for the Peculiar Tales?
Well, basically what happened was that I wanted to. I'd just done something called Mechanical Moves, this web series of 3 films, and I'd met a lot of people and contacts through that. And I wanted that was kind of like a course at UCA, University of Creative Arts. I wanted to do something that was more my own project, something that was personal, created by myself and fellow students. So I was kind of thinking of ideas in the back of my head. That summer 2012, I'd fallen in love with the work of Wes Anderson. So that was a sort of big influence on me. And then one day in September, my good friend Lewis Smith, who I'd recently met on that course, an earlier version of the course, he just came up to me and said, hi mate. And I was like, hi, hello. And we just got talking, and he was like, oh, do you want to make a film with me? I was like, okay, I'd be interested. And then we started talking about ideas. It turned out he had a sort of quite a quirky set of ideas too, so I thought, and eventually we sort of came up with a vague idea of a web series of 3 short films, which later evolved to 3 short films on their own, not as a web series. And that was that's how it sort of first came to pass. We had a lovely little Facebook conversation, and then we took us a very long time to get it done, but after about 9 months we started shooting, which was nice.
Just a quick cut. There's a horrid shadow on his face. Is that gonna? Do you agree?
Yeah, when did that come in?
I don't know.
Can we move him slightly to the right?
Hold on.
Did you cut it?